I'm going to win $100,000 playing poker and give it all away to you guys. That might sound kind of crazy, and frankly, it probably is. But what exactly happened for me to want to prove the online poker dream is still alive and well? That someone playing at mid-stakes poker can still make a considerable living. That online poker does not have the nail in its coffin shut closed, but rather there is still an opportunity for someone to live the poker dream. Well, to understand that, first we've got to take a step back on what caused this wild idea that I had the other day. For those that don't know, poker is a skill game, which means unlike many of the other casino gambling games you might find, you can actually win money in the long run by playing a better strategy than your opponents. The reason is simple. The game isn't against the house. It's against other people where the house takes a cut. So if you're enough better than your opponent and you overcome that house edge, you, my friend, are winning money. And this is no secret to poker players. For decades, dating back to probably the 1800s with riverboat gambling, seasoned professional gamblers have used this edge to make a living, and of course, far greater riches for the chosen few, aka anyone that is lucky enough to win a tournament like the main event. Every year it tilts me that somebody wins. And every year I'm ready to get hurt again. While for hundreds of years gambling games happened in person, with the birth of online poker, a new forum came to town, and people could play for just a few cents or dollars online and have a chance to win all the way up to play with the big guys. Enter the online poker boom of the mid-2000s, with Chris Moneymaker winning the main event, satelliting in from just a very small dollar amount online. The idea that you could spin up a small dollar amount to millions of bucks became an American dream. We then began to see a flurry of people depositing to major online sites like Paradise Poker, Party Poker, Ultimate Bet, Full Tilt Poker, PokerStars, and many other poker rooms back when the poker boom was happening. It wasn't just tournament glory that people were chasing. In fact, you could deposit and play cash games where the blinds were dollar amounts, and you could go from playing $2 buy-ins up to Rail Heaven, the highest stakes that you could find online, where you could play with people like Phil Ivey or Gus Hansen to have a chance to win a $100,000 stack in just one single hand. Online poker was a license to print money for the businesses themselves and for the people that could play poker better than their opponents. But unfortunately, that was all about to end. Enter Black Friday. On one fateful Friday, the entire poker world stood still when we tried to log on to the websites and saw this image. The domains had been seized by the federal government, and that was it for the major websites in America. That said, however, there were some major sites that decided it was worth the risk to operate in a black market in America, despite clearly not being allowed to do so. I'm not going to name any names. Black Friday was a dagger to the online poker dream. Our money was stuck. You couldn't play on almost any website anymore. And finally, it looked like the ability to start with nothing and turn it into a lot of money, well, that dream was dead. However, over the last 10 years, we've started to see things come back a little bit in the United States. We see several states that have their own licensed gaming. You can actually play poker online in states like Nevada, New Jersey, I believe Pennsylvania. So we're starting to see it return, but still not at its former glory. The next chapter of the US market for online poker started to come in different forms. We saw the rise of poker apps where basically you had an agent or you basically had a guy that you'd settle through and get to play with the player pool of people who also had agents. This is really a black market way of offering poker, but it did get the job done. And with the federal government not looking to crack down on this too heavily, we saw some of these things flourish. Meanwhile, we also saw the invention of sweepstakes poker, basically using the sweepstakes model to have a legal online poker platform where you follow all of the sweepstakes laws located in each individual state. And then you're able to have poker using that sweepstakes model, something that Global Poker first popularized and became by far the largest sweepstakes site. To be frank, the format's kind of weird. You sign up and then you buy coins, and when you buy coins, you get given other coins. Those other coins represent dollars that you can redeem for dollars. It's a weird, convoluted system, but the big takeaway is that there are legal experts that have come to the conclusion that this is a legitimate way of doing it, And now we're starting to see some big dogs enter the arena, like Club WPT Gold. You're probably already familiar with Club WPT Gold from when you used code Doug to sign up just a month or two ago. Everyone else is giving out money, but not here on my channel. Your financial future awaits you in this state-of-the-art t-shirt that I am offering. But this is the sweepstakes poker site from one of the biggest brands in poker, WPT. And basically they've launched their new client where now today you can play real money online poker through the sweepstakes model on Club WPT Gold's app. Online poker is back. Everything is great. That's the end of the story, right? Well, unfortunately not, because there's a much bigger problem at play. A problem that we've seen a lot over the last few weeks specifically, where basically it's never been easier to cheat in online poker. The tools that are available for people to use and learn how to play poker perfectly, well, they're the strongest that they've ever been. And we're at a point now where using those tools will absolutely crush a human opponent. With how easy it is to get better at poker these days, and with how many people are scared of these tools, there are less and less major whales that are playing online sites for you to be able to win money from. With it never being easier to cheat and drama swirling with ambassadors like Nacho Barbero having GTO Wizard up in the background while posting on Instagram, the conversation has come to the forefront. Is it still possible to live the poker dream? Is it still possible for someone to work their way up and make a fortune playing poker? With that question in mind, Patrick Leonard stepped onto a poker podcast with one of the highest effort to viewership ratios I've ever seen to answer the question, is the poker dream dead?
If you're 18 now wanting to get into poker, there's no reason to want to be a professional poker player, right? Like tournaments seems like they're dead. Everyone's cheating. Cash games, you don't have any evidence of other people successfully building their way up.
And they're cheating too.
Basically, it seems like that's what we're down to. Bink or cheat. Bink or cheat. There's nothing left that you can do. Or is there? Because as far as I'm concerned, the dream's not quite dead yet. It's in a bad place for sure. There's no doubt about that. Especially when it's this easy to cheat and some sites are taking it maybe less seriously than they should be. But I'll have you know that just a few years ago, we turned $100 into $10,000 over on WSOP.com, playing the normal games anyone would play, showing that in just 60 sessions, it is still possible to live the poker dream. Now, $10,000 over the course of 2 years playing sporadically, that's not exactly making it to the big leagues. That's not exactly making a good living. That's not exactly showing that the dream is alive. It's showing that you can work up a reasonable bankroll perhaps, but not the dream of making serious money playing poker online. Now, I did not really have a game plan for playing online poker, frankly, ever again. After my last match with Daniel Negreanu, where I won $1.2 million, after winning the Bankroll Challenge, after winning my Sauce Challenge before when I played Ben Solsky about 10 years ago now, I've won pretty much all of my online poker challenges with the exception of the first one I ever did. I tried to win $10,000 in a month at NL25, and I have some very embarrassing videos that did in fact happen that I wish I could scrub from the internet, because my God, why would I do that? And especially why would I bring it up on a future video? Because then people are going to use it and oh my God, I've made a mistake. But the other day when I opened up Club WPT Gold and I was looking around at the games, I've got to say, this is like stepping into a time warp and coming out in 2007. Let me show you. One of the first hands I played, a player decided to go all in with the old Jack 8 for 100 big blinds here. So for those of you that don't know poker very well, Jack 8, not very good. In fact, if you have Jack 7, it's actually a much stronger hand for 5 and 6 bet bluffs. But with Jack 8, not the kind of hand you want to be putting all your chips in the middle. Here we had an opponent that decided to limp and then just jam over a raise. To give him some credit, he did have a pocket pair, which might put him in the top possibly 10 players on the entire site. He did also win, so he's winning and he has a pocket pair. This guy is a top reg. You can't really label people on the site, but if I did need to label, I'd say top reg would be the one for this guy. Here I want to highlight a little bit of pre-flop discipline. So our opponent, this one, Night Trader, he lost a big pot. And the thing about losing in poker, you got to keep it together. You got to play your A game, which is why he is now open jamming the small blind for 100 straddles. on the following hand. You can't say that it was a bad hand. Maybe he had aces. He didn't have aces. It's a safe bet. One more hand for the road here versus Night Trader. So we've got a kind of classic action flop for 2 hands. We got the straight flush draw. We have the pair of 2s for Night Trader. You might notice the middle here, the pot is $3,000. So there were some raises that happened. You could argue maybe I was perhaps a bit spewy in this hand. It's truly hard to say. But my opponent decided to put in 2 buy-ins with a pair of 2s. And as luck would have it, the board double paired and 10 high won a 4 buy-in pot. Now, I don't know what it looks like on most poker platforms, but how often is 10 high winning 2 buy-ins in a hand at Showdown? I'm going to say not all that often. Okay, so you guys see what's happening here. I mean, you're all smart people. In fact, you probably used code Doug to sign up to Club WPT Gold earlier today. But where I'm going is simple. These people on this site are morons. And so I think the poker dream, well, I don't know if in aggregate it is going to be dead tomorrow or next year or whatever it might be, but I can tell you as for right now, the game is alive and well, which is why I'm going on a truly insane prop bet. I'm going to win $100,000 in 1 month of 2-4-8 no limit. It's going to mainly be 2-4 the way I'll approach it, but the point is it's going to be about 120 max buy-ins. Now, you might think, okay, that's doable. That's possible. How many tables are you going to play? 4, 10, 12? This is the catch. I'm going to 1 table. This is going to be fun. I'm smiling, so it must be fun. To be totally fair, I'm going to play whatever the max number of tables they allow on the site is. But right now, it's just 1 table. And I don't think it's going to be finished by the time this bet gets going. So if for some reason they roll out multi-tabling a week or 2 in, I'm going to add in whatever tables they allow because the quality of the games will get a lot worse if they have more tables. But the point is this. I am planning on 1 tabling for 1 month to see if I can win $100,000 at what is basically mid-stakes no limit. So I've done some initial math on this. I think I can probably play about 50,000 hands in a month. I have to win $100,000, so I have to win $2 a hand. The big blind will be probably on average around $6. It's kind of tricky. There's an ante. Sometimes it'll be 2-4-8. I don't want to bore you with all of the details, but the point is I'm going to have to win about 120 buy-ins, or I'm going to have to win something like 17,000 big blinds. It's just some gigantic number. I'm just making up numbers at this point, but I do think I can do it. I think the games are soft enough. I've been looking for a challenge for a little while. And I really think that we can do something that will frankly probably not have another opportunity to be done in the history of online poker. That's the challenge. 1 month. So I'm going to start at the morning of March 3rd. I'm going to end it at the end of the day, April 3rd. So I have all of the days in there in order to finish my challenge. And here's what I'm going to do. Every dollar that I win, I'm going to give away to all of you guys that sign up with code Doug. So I don't know how much it will end up being. I'm going to lobby WPT to try and put some money in there as well to make the pot bigger. I don't know what it's going to end up being, but I can tell you this. It's all going to you guys. It's going to be a fun stream. We're going to show that the dream is still alive and well, and we're going to have some laughs along the way because, again, these people are morons. Unlike you, you're very smart. You used code Doug. Few other items here. Everyone, of course, welcome to watch me suffer, but the only people that can enter this are from US or Canada, and you cannot be from Washington, Idaho, Montana, or Michigan. Every other state is eligible. Also, I'm going to put a tracker up at codedoug.com. You can head over there to check out the update on how I'm doing and see where we're at on the challenge to win $100,000 in 1 month. Real talk for a moment here. I don't think I'm going to make it. There's definitely a chance I make it, but it's just so much money and so few hands. The games are insane. So what I have working for me is that the people are just very bad, but at some point it's just a math problem. So if I had to guess where I would end up, I'm going to say 68,000, right? But we got to dream big. We got to swing for the fences. and show that we can make an absurd amount of money. If I make 100K in this, it shows you could still make $1 million a year playing online poker. So we're going to go for it, guys. I hope you join me on this journey. Please feel free to follow along, check out the stream, subscribe, follow, all that kind of good stuff. And I'm going to see you guys soon over on Club WPT Gold. How much one tabling did I just sign up for?